television personality from Cebu. Kung kayo po ay taga Visayas, Mindanao, maayong buntag, no? He is the CEO of Liteblock and Monterrazas Prime. Let us all welcome Slater Young to talk about what to look for when buying a home.
Hi, thank you, OSHDP, for having me here. I'm so excited. This is something new to me. I prepared my talk here. Nandito siya. But thank you so much for making me part of this event. This is a very prestigious honor to be part of this. And just a little bit of background about me. My name is Slater Young. I have been in the construction industry for, I would say, 15 years na siguro. I'm still young, but I've started super early because my dad was into construction and still is. They're doing mga steel, mga buildings here in Cebu. They're called high-speed construction. But ako na rin, I specialize in lightweight concrete. So our main product is Liteblock. And it's being used by mga developers here in Cebu and even around the country. And it's used in a lot of houses already. So I would say, meron talaga akong magandang background when it comes to construction. But not only that, meron din akong real estate business. We're actually developing a super good, very beautiful home here in Cebu. It's going to be a high-end home and it's facing the city, SMC side. It's located in Monterrazas, Cebu. The project is called Monterrazas Prime. Very good architecture, very minimalist design, exactly the way I want it, so check it out also. But not only that, meron din akong YouTube channel. Ang dami kong binibenta sa inyo. If you want to get more advice about home stuff, DIY, architecture, I have a YouTube channel. Just Google Slater Young and you'll see it there. I feel like it's my way of giving back na makakatulong din ako when it comes to people that are looking for a new home or trying to construct and they don't know what to do. At least I can help them. I can help point them in the right direction. But today, I'll also help mga new home buyers or those looking for a home and point them into the right direction. We're going to be talking about the top 10 tips ko on what you need to do when you want to look for a new home. Ayan, let's get started. Okay, the very, very first one I would say is to find a good broker or an agent. A lot of people are medyo allergic to agents, but I love to talk to good agents. They give me good insights and they show me all the options that's available in the market para at least man lang hindi puro sales talk na agent. Yung agent talaga na, oh, this is good for you because these are your needs and hindi ka ipupush towards buying something that you would later on regret. That's a very, very good agent. It's not all about sales. A good agent would want a relationship, a long-term relationship between you and him or her para at least man lang na happy ka and you'll recommend him, ganyan. So I would say the key to looking for a good agent is that it's not all about just him or her making a sale. Makikita mo talaga sa personality niya na he really wants to help you, to help educate you, and to help educate your choices. So that's very, very important because tayo naman talaga, we all need help from time to time. I use a good agent also whenever I'm looking into purchasing property or building something. So that really, really helps. Second, and this would parang tahi siya sa first tip, is to look around. Hindi yung pwedeng, oh, may bahay dito, okay ba to o hindi? Ganyan lang. A lot of people are lazy to look at what's available in the market. So, itong good agent mo, tutulungan ka niya to show you what's available. What are your options? Pwede ka bang bumili ng bahay or would it be a high-rise building that you want to be a part of, a condominium establishment, or pwede ba mga townhouses? What really suits your need? And mako-compare mo yung mga price range, And really, guys, this is the biggest tip I can give because it keeps your options open. It broadens your perspective na makikita natin, it's not just one project pala. Ang dami palang pare-pareho ng project. Or maybe there's just some project out there that's just waiting for you. Like, the perfect one for you naman talaga. Diba? There are a lot of good projects, but the question is it good for you? Okay, third, and this I'm talking about this from a personal experience, is to know the developer and ask about the history of the developer. You look at their past projects, you talk to friends who are living in the developments or past developments of that developer. And if it's a condo unit that's already standing and already there, yung ready for occupancy na type of condo unit, pwede mong magtanong sa mga people living there. Are they happy? Do they enjoy being part of that community? So it's very important because not all, konti lang naman yung developers, pero meron naman talagang developers that cut corners, developers that are really, really good, and developers that are parang So as my experience also when it comes to talking to different types of developers, I would get to know na, itong developer na to maganda. Very, very strict sila when it comes to QC. Very, very willing to spend for quality itong developer na to. Tapos, yung iba naman, ito lang talaga sa kanila. Basta mura, ito na yung ilalagay namin. So, that makes a very, very big difference. So make sure you're working with the right developer and know what they're all about talaga. All right. Number 4. Tip number 4 is don't buy more than you can afford. Like when we're house shopping, or even kami with my wife, like we're looking for a beach house, parang natatempt ka talaga to go for the best of the best or just a little bit off our reach. Like, kahit naman sino, like for example, if I can buy an almost penthouse building, parang mas gusto ko pa rin yung penthouse. Kaya ko ba? Pwede ko ba i-stretch yung budget ko? We're all parang nadadala tayo sa ganyan, sa mga emotional side of buying things. So, just take care talaga of your budget and make sure that it is within your means. Kasi you don't want to be gipit ka rin. Ayaw mo rin magiging yung lahat na lang ng ina-earn mo, it's all for that. Or worse is you default on the unit that you're buying. So stick to the planned budget talaga and make sure you can really afford it. And also, tip number 5, tahin na naman. Remember that you have to spend a little more after the fact. So meron pa tayong mga taxes, which is yearly. Meron pa tayong mga furniture, meron pa tayong mga repairs after a few years of living in place. So make sure you have other budget considerations, especially when, I would say even more so if it's a home. Ang condo, mas konti lang, but may mga kusa pa rin, ganyan. But a home also, like for our home, ang mahal, di ba? May mga kuryente pa, may mga repair bills, may just the upkeep of the home. So make sure na iisip din natin yan, not just the price of the home. And also, it's not all, tip number 6, it's not all about just the house. It's also about the neighborhood, the community on where the development or the house is located. May signal ba yung area na yan? You can ask around for the neighbors kung may flooding ba in the area. Is it prone to being mga akyat bahay? Is it a safe community to be in? Or malapit ba sa school ng anak mo? Or is it near the work? So it's very, very important to have good community. Paminsan, that place can be noisy. So, yan din, important din. So, even just having the right community, like the surrounding houses, is it well maintained? can bring value to your investment. If the people around you are maintaining their homes well, the community is well managed, it will add to the value of that community and thereby adding value to your very, very big investment. So that is an important thing to note. Okay. Ito, I mentioned this, I glazed over this kanina, but it should be all about practicality first before something emotional. Say for example, may maganda kaming beach house dito. Sobrang ganda, afford ko. And merong mas maliit na bahay near to work. Paminsan, I'll just commute na lang, bahala na, mas mahal as long as I'm in the beach house. Mas nadadala kasi tayo again with our emotions. And just an example in our home, dati I had a shower right in the middle of our CR. And it was so impractical. Puro glass surrounding me. And we were in the mountains, living in the mountains. And then parang, okay to. Parang wala naman kaming kapitbahay eh. Parang, I'd like this design kasi it's architecturally sobrang ganda. Like, parang umuulan sa loob ng bahay mo na dun ka naliligo. But it was super impractical. And after 2 years, we had to seal off the windows. Yung shower hindi nagagamit kasi ang layo ng valve to go turn on the shower kasi nga nasa gitna yung shower. So, it's all practicality first. The emotional part kasi, parang natatempt tayo. It's like napupull tayo sa emotional part. But once you get used to these types of design elements or once you get used to, parang na-desensitize na tayo with yung mga luxury or the emotional side of it, babalik at babalik tayo sa practical aspect. So, the practical aspect first and bonus na lang yung mga design aspect, yung mga lifestyle elements. Although it really does still matter, but make sure you consider the practicality portion first. Alright. Number 8. Think long term. What do you want to happen with this home? Do you want it to be a home for just the next 5 years? Or do you want it to be a forever home? In that case, you may want to consider, kasya ba yung parking nyo? Kasya ba yung rooms pag may anak kayo? Or kasya ba yung parking when your anak needs to go have his own car, etc. So, important then to consider all these aspects and yung nagpro-project ka on how you would use this. Meron din kasi mga buyers na, okay, we'll buy this house and we'll use it for the next 5 years, but plano namin to move on and move forward after the fact. So this house, we'll rent it out or probably sell it off. So even when you're doing that, it's still important to think long term because you're now thinking of an investment point of view. Parang, ang gagawin ko with this investment, would this investment, aangat ba yung price niya after the fact, after 5 years? Or is it nearby any schools where I can rent it out after I move? Important din yun. Or rent it out, or like business establishments nearby, makakatulong ba to raise the prices of the investment? Again, very important, the community around it. As well as, balik tayo, paulit-ulit, no? Patuyok lang siya. Patuyok, paikot-ikot. Balik tayo with having a reputable developer na the building, the structure, the home would last longer and it's well-maintained talaga. So, again, think long-term and not just like go over it like emotionally na, ito na yun. No, just think about what it means to be there and live there talaga, especially when it comes to involving your family. So, ubusan ako ng laway, guys. Alright, number 9 is to check everything before accepting the turnover. So, a lot of buyers parang they move into the house and then they don't even turn on the faucets and then malalaman lang nila na, hindi pala umaandar tong faucet na to, or the light switch doesn't turn on, may leak yung bubong, etc., etc. So, may amoy. Make sure all these items are resolved. Make sure na na-inspect siya. If you want a guide, I actually posted a video about it on YouTube. So, nandun yung mga what to look for when moving into a house. Nandun yun. But, another tip I can give you if you don't want to go through that is just pay someone. Pay an expert. Pay an architect. Pay a contractor. Or maybe may kakilala kayong mga contractor na ganyan. You can bring them to the house or condo unit that you just recently purchased before turnover. Make them inspect everything. They want to turn on all the switches, turn on all the water, make sure every toilet flushes. You want to check for leaks, etc., etc. And these people, these professionals will help guide you when it comes to what is acceptable and unacceptable. Hindi lang kasi nakikita sa untrained eye paminsan yung mga mali. Like even just as simple as having the right outlets in the right location is very, very important. So just having that one person who knows what they're doing will really, really save you not just money but headache in the long term. Even if you have to pay them a little bit just to inspect. So very, very important. Oh, and lastly, tip number 10 is that don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for that unicorn. A lot of property buyers, parang they want everything that checks all the boxes. Like parang dapat maganda yung view, dapat maganda yung daan, dapat etc., etc., etc. Siguro may ganyan, pero siguro sobrang mahal siguro niyan. But tayo naman, 99.9% of us need to live in reality, and then there's always pros and cons to every development. Meron naman ding mga compromises talaga. Wala namang development na perfect. Like this development, okay, sobrang ganda nga, pero sobrang mahal. Or this development, parang it's budget, pero affordable, but it cuts a lot of corners. Pero for some people, pwede na rin, kasi tight yung budget nila. So what you're really looking for is not something that checks all your boxes, yung what is perfect for you. Kasi if you're just dreaming of the perfect, one day merong perfect development, one day there's a perfect house. Ako mismo ang nag-construct ng bahay namin, meron pa nga akong reklamo. Like, oh, I wish this could be bigger, I wish this would have been better done. Ganyan talaga ang construction because it's super complicated. It involves a lot of aspects. So there's no one perfect project talaga. What we really want to happen is just to find that right middle ground where you're happy with your purchase. So yeah, again, don't expect perfection. Ayan. Whew. I haven't talked for this long. For so long. Medyo nafe-feel ko na yung laway ko nauubos na. But meron pa tayong... But that's a little bit of run-through lang on what I advise, especially mga homeowners, the new home buyers, to just at least mapag-isipan lang natin. Maybe it will help some of you out there who are thinking about ano ba talaga ang dapat, ano ba talaga ang kailangan kong malaman before I commit to a very big commitment, very big investment. So, yan. And, alright, meron tayong mga questions that we're going to answer right now. Okay. Is it good to buy a new house in a developing community or an old home in an established community? Para sa akin, it really, sobrang daming factors. Sobrang daming factors when it comes to this. I would say this is a very personal question, and it's, again, specific to your needs. There's a lot more things to know or to consider when you're choosing between an old home in an established community and a new home in a new community. I'm thinking like parang, okay, Forbes Park, established na, and mga BGC area medyo bago pa, up and coming, but it really depends on you and your use case. Typically mga established communities mas mahal na, and there's really no space na bago. You're usually buying parang second hand ba ang tawag niyan, or mga pre-owned houses. So you're buying that, and in a new community, you're most likely getting a new home. Again, there's cost differences, and it's very complicated to just consider that one aspect. If you were to ask me right now, I'd just say 50-50 pa rin. Malaki ba ang naging effect ng pandemic in terms of deciding what or where to buy a house? What are the additional considerations now? Well, napansin ko lang, this is from just my perspective, my very small perspective, is that a lot of people are tending to go into homes more than condos. Just, ito lang yung ano ko, but probably not. But from my end, this is, nafe-feel ko na pandemic is that people are more willing to spend a little bit for a bigger space. Whether it's from a small bedroom unit, they want a bigger space. Mas prime na yung mga open areas, mas prime na yung mga places where you're not so much in contact with other people all the time. So I think that's what changed in the market for during the pandemic talaga. Are the tips you mentioned also the same factors that you considered with your Monterrazas project? Even in my YouTube videos, I try as much as possible na itong mga sinasabi ko in the YouTube videos is ano talaga ang i-apply natin sa in practical terms. Like Monterrazas, we have strict QC, we have all these punch listing na sinasabi natin kanina. But at the end of the day, we can strive for perfection. But again, even ako, I'll be first to admit, there's no perfect project talaga. Even Monterrazas, as good as it is, meron pa rin siyang like people, mga buyers na nakausap namin, it's just not perfect for them. So, ano talaga, that's just part of life. So, yeah, just go with the flow. Is it more affordable to buy or to build a home when starting a family? So, if home talaga, it's more affordable to build. The problem is sobrang sakit sa ulo. If you don't know what you're doing, pwede ka maloko ng contractor. There's a lot of aspects to look for, like, is the construction done well? Is it done on time? There's just so much. If you don't know what you're doing, I always recommend just pay a little bit more premium and use a developer, a reputable developer. Ako talaga, even as a contractor, ito yung advice ko. Unless you are building a very big house na it's not available in the market, or you have something very specific in mind na, gusto mo may bowling alley sa basement mo na hindi mo makakuha in the market, I'd say, that's a time to construct. But most of the time, ano lang talaga, okay na with just buying. At least nakikita mo rin, most projects, meron silang mga model unit. Nakikita mo na, will this work for me or not? All right. How long does it usually take to buy a house? Decent time frame for research and considering the properties you shortlisted. It really depends. It really depends on how nitpicky you want to be, how much. I would say it depends on your needs. Ganyan na lang. If you're in a hurry because you really need a home, I guarantee you, sobrang bilis ng decision making nyo. Or if the project is selling like hotcakes and you're one of the buyers and every time you ask about it, nauubos at nauubos na, and you really like that project, mapapabilis yung decision making nyo. But I would say if you're really in the market and you want to buy a house, and the decision is around mga 3 months. Yun yung sa experience ko, mga ganyan. 3 months na, just to look at all the papers, all the rules of the subdivision, all the mga kusa, just these details, to read all the contracts, and just to commit fully. Mga ganyan. But I'm just guessing. Again, it can take you 2 years. Pwede rin if you're not in a hurry and you're looking for that Perfect, 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 ano, kung makikita mo. Alright. When buying a house, do I really have to think of an exit strategy right away, considering I may sell it when the need arises? Yes, I think, again, this is some sort of na-cover na natin. It's about the long-term investment. So ako, if I were to buy, let's say, for example, one-bedroom condo unit, and I'd say, oh, I'll use this probably, but not sure yet. Parang ganyan. Or I'll use this for the first 2 years, but after that, I'll move into a bigger house. So I'd consider na, meron bang mga, pwede ba tong i-rent? Like, would the condo homeowners association allow me to rent it out? Can I rent it out to students? Are there schools nearby? Can I rent it out to, let's say, for example, frontliners? Are there hospitals nearby na pwede ko iparent out? Kaya ba ko bang i-convert into an Airbnb? Is that part of the deed of restrictions? Parang, these are things that you want to consider, especially if, I think not especially if, I think these are things you really have to consider and know before investing a big amount of money. For us, the buyer side, regarding the usage of light blocks, what's the advantage of this technology if the developers are using it? So a lot of developers are actually using it for exterior interior walls, light blocks. Light block is a lightweight concrete na kami yung nag-invent. Meron to siyang a lot of patents. And the beauty of this is that, again, it's lightweight. So the building becomes safer for the occupant. It becomes lighter, meaning the building is carrying less load. Kasi a big part of it, a big part of any construction project is the weight of the walls. So it's more earthquake resistant. Number 2, light block is insulated. Insulated meaning it's insulated from the heat, and more important, I would say, is it's insulated from sound. So your house stays cooler and it's quieter. Yung mga neighbors mo, hindi mo masyadong maririnig. Alam mo yung mga cheap hotels, if you've ever stayed in one, sobrang ingay kasi naka fiber cement board lang or naka plywood lang. The sound isn't, parang sobrang irritating to be there, di ba? So a lot of us, all of us want peace and quiet in our homes, and light block can help you with that also. So yeah, I'm happy that a lot of developers trust us, and a lot of even mga homeowners who are building their homes trust us with the product. Last question. Do you believe in feng shui? What's your take on it? Feng shui is very personal. Sa akin, I believe in the practical aspects of feng shui. Meron naman din talaga na parang, yeah, it makes sense. Yung mga pintuan to pintuan, hindi magkikita. Parang it's just a little bit awkward din if ganyan din pagka-design yung bahay. So, there are a lot of practical aspects to feng shui. But my idea on it is that, I believe in the practical aspects. But if you believe it, nasa inyo na yan, and there's nothing to lose naman talaga. Like, there's ways around it. There's ways na if you feel like it helps motivate you, you feel like you're luckier because you're doing that and you're willing to live with yung mga compromises of feng shui, like paminsan yung doors kailangan nandito, or yung CR setup mas medyo awkward lang because of certain beliefs. Not really an expert in this. So, go for it. Like, parang wala namang mawawala sa inyo eh. But for me, from a practical point of view, mas engineering kasi ako, mas puro flow. Flow of how you move from one place to another. And sometimes lang may mga conflict there when it comes to feng shui. I think a lot of architects out there can relate also. So yeah, I think that's it for me. Thank you so much for having me again. This is super medyo nape-pressure din ako. This is a very big occasion. Again, I'm very honored to be part of this. But thank you so much. And do check out our project, Monterrazas Prime, my product, Liteblock. And if you're ever in the mood to just listen and learn more about housing and DIY stuff, check out my YouTube channel, Slater Young. Bye guys. I'll see you later.